Yeah, we're here after a 4-day break, cock and bull. And for me, a 4-day break on this podcast is almost like coming back. If you remember the old days when you were in school and you took a vacation break, didn't see a lot of the people for the whole 2 months, 6 weeks, whatever. So it's like that for me, coming back and meeting these guys. Because every day they're in your face. And then it's like classical conditioning that happens. You actually miss them and the whole podcast in 4 days. And I hate it on a general day to day basis, to be honest. But the 4 days has made absence make the heart grow fonder. But I want to quickly rant about something else, which is I realized that I was forced to color my hair again against my better judgment. As you can see, it's very black. And then I realized that after not shaving since the last time I did any work which involved shaving was Wednesday morning, I've got a little. This is, by the way, as much as growth as I get, not too much more after this. But the white is now explicit and the black is very strong. So I think I've got to rethink this whole look thing because now it's very clear that it's not natural. I think you should only do it maybe from 35 to 45, and then you want to just give it up. So I'm just putting it out there as an opinion poll. Please tell me what we should do as we enter our 50s. So we just give up the ghost because we're not fooling anyone. And when this sort of thing happens, this really looks ridiculous. Okay, having said that, it's time to welcome our guests post Diwali. 1 kilo up, Amit, I hope, after all the sweets. As a good
I
Valkeshwar boy, I'm sure Brijvasi
if
is just
it's
round the corner.
if it's
Kya
only a
khaya?
kilogram, I will be very happy.
Did you eat a lot? But
Yeah, dude. I mean, like the amount of stuff that comes through right at home. So Pratilipi sent like the home office big company, the one that owns us. They sent like this Soon Papdi thing, which I'm not a fan, but holy shit, that thing was good, man. So I
Yeah.
ate a bunch of that.
They also sent some great chocolates, by the way, from Smoor.
Chocolates were really good as
SMOOR.
well.
yeah, when in
Excellent
doubt, you
Yeah,
don't
chocolates.
go desi. You just send the damn chocolate. I agree.
yeah.
You don't
that's
worry. Yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
No, but I got
Smart,
some desi
smart move.
stuff too, which is amazing too, right? Like, I mean, like we got like some stuff from Bombay Sweet Shop. We got all these various gifts that came home, right? Like, where somebody from this, they have this country of origin place. They have like this fudge
Lovely,
kind of
cool,
thing.
cool. No,
Cool,
by the way,
yeah,
not cool who we interviewed, huh? That's KOO. This is a new network which you can join if you like. This is COO.
we did an
He's
interview
half
with Cool, huh?
Parsi. Salaskar. Kiran Salaskar, his mom is Parsi. Lovely guy.
Yeah,
And God, we are too close to that, huh? You pass
yeah,
it
no,
here and there. Yeah,
yeah, it was
fabulous.
so many of these things, right? I mean, like brownies came from somewhere, and then
Brownies come from the subcontinent.
uh,
The,
like as in
well,
India,
yeah, well, you
as
know what I
in
mean.
Pakistan, as in like I
As
mean,
in
like
people of browny skin
people of
color. I
brown
just
skin.
let it
Okay,
go.
all right,
Please
I'll
let
let
it
it go.
go.
All right,
When a
okay.
comedian makes a joke that doesn't have any impact, you let it go as a mark of respect for the passing, the tragedy that just happened.
But
But
I
I just coming back to this, I was just talking to some guys in the morning, and it is very funny how everybody says, "Man, Diwali week" and all that, but you don't realize how you sort of auto suggest to yourself when there's a festive season or when there's a little sangeet wedding of a family member, whatever. You sort of tell yourself it's a temporary absence of mind where you're going to just allow yourself to have this amount of sin.
uh
Everybody does the same thing, and
yeah.
obviously you can't really allocate it like that. You can't say for 7 days I'm going to go berserk and then I'll get back in shape or whatever.
So,
I
but
just
you know what? I felt like I did it before Diwali as well, right? I was like, oh fuck, Diwali is coming up. I'm gonna eat like a pig. So let's just be careful. Let's not like
see.
overdo this. Let's do that. And then 4 days of Diwali happened, which where you did eat like a pig. Like dude, we had like lunch at home once, and like like the heavy duty undiu, puri, shrikand, all that kind of jazz, right? This is not my normal way. I would never like this is not what I
Oh,
eat
I
on a day
love
to day
Srikhand,
basis.
bro. I can't resist. Condensed milk Srikhand, I can't keep that in the fridge. Because I've
Yeah.
learned the hard way. If you lose the battle, don't have it there. It's why they, had the idea of covering women up because men couldn't control themselves. A completely stupid idea, but it's the same thing, At the end of the day, just don't have it there because you just can't stop. Uh,
Yeah, something should not be in the fridge.
But you're saying 4 days, but actually it lasts a little longer than that. There's a little preamble because the mithai starts coming in well before Diwali. Nobody wants to make the date, miss the date. So you
Yeah.
get, at least in the old days, my dad was a corporate person, lawyer, etc. It would come from 7, 8 companies and all that. We'd have so much. And on Diwali day itself, you'd be trying to distribute it because it's just too
So
much. And then
I think
surplus
you're
post
right.
the new year.
I think you're generally right, but I think this time it was a little different, right? Normally, I feel like you're right. It goes on for like a week or so, but this time it felt like everything came on Thursday or Friday. Sorry, everything came on Thursday. Like Thursday was Dhanteras, I
Actual
think.
day.
Friday,
Yeah. No,
uh,
Thursday was
no, sorry,
Wednesday was
Dhanteras.
Dhanteras.
Thursday was Diwali.
What's wrong with us? We don't even know that
I
much.
don't even
The week
remember
has
days. Yeah,
passed.
I
Please,
know. I
people
don't
Thursday was
listening to the
remember.
Diwali.
show,
It was
do
Thursday
not
was
follow
Diwali,
us
but
yeah.
yeah.
for date advice. You'll have to Google yourself. We
So
can't help
so
you.
so I'm already
Christmas is
wrong,
what,
right?
26th?
Christmas
Okay,
is
go on.
26.
but I'm clearly wrong, right? Because again, it's already almost been 6 days, right? Because it did start on it
Today
did
is
start
Monday,
on
Wednesday basically.
it started on Tuesday, Dhanteras. Dhanteras is the
Tuesday,
day when stuff.
Dhanteras. Correct.
Yeah,
So this
Dhanteras
is
is the day
day
when stuff
6.
start coming. Yeah, so this is day
Yeah. So it
six.
is a week in a sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a week, I guess.
I'm just talking about the psychological profiling that we do for ourselves, where we just decide that it's going to be this period. It is similar to the whole idea on December 31st when you think and say, Jan 1st onwards, I stop everything and I go fitness crazy or I give up meat. I've had all these ideas myself. I'll become a vegetarian and all that. Every Jan 1st, I've decided is the day. But Jan 2nd, I've lost.
Yeah.
I so gym owners tell me, how many they make so much money between Jan 1st, Jan 15th, or
Yeah,
just pre Diwali or
Yeah,
just pre summer vacation, and they just
absolutely.
make the money, and the guy's paid for the year. He'll never come back. In about one
Yeah.
month, he's gone forever, and you've got that money in an empty space which is not being used. It's
it's
beautiful.
part of the business model, right? For gyms, they expect. I was reading. So one of these things went public, right? Recently, Planet Fitness in the US, and so I mean, like part of
Yeah.
their. So they do these filings, right? Where they are like what we call a red herring over here, right? I mean, like they do like an S4 report there. So it tells you stuff about the business and stuff like that, and it literally was like that hey, our business spikes at these points in times, after which we assume there will be like conversion of like 12% of people who have joined us in January will continue onwards. 88% will drop off and stuff like that, right?
But
Yeah.
Same
unlike
on
unlike
Thanksgiving,
there's a slight difference in this whole algorithm. Is unlike normal seasonal thick stuff where you make your money during Diwali, during Christmas.
right?
Here you make it during, but for the year. You make it
Yeah.
for the year because the packages are yearly, generally speaking.
Hmm.
Nobody takes a week package. So the guy's committed. I'm going to do it for the year. Therein lies the rub. I love
But
that because you've
th-
not fooled them. I fooled myself. You
yeah,
see the beauty. You can't blame anyone.
but that's the ultimate in sales, right? I mean, like the best way to sell your product is to make the customer think they need your product, right? And the customer has to fool themselves. If you try and fool the customer, it never works.
So
The
there's something
customer
to say.
has to.
Yeah,
The
but Amit, there's
customer
something to say
has
about
to.
you telling yourself that you're going to do this for the year and you get what we call sukoon. You get peace of mind once that's done. The deal is done with yourself कि मैं ये करेगा और ये हो जाएगा and done. And then for 2 weeks you do get that peace of mind and then life happens. And then I love this cycle. I know it's a little again it's elitist problems, but it's fabulous. But before we go into anything, I just want to say I'm wearing a Kolkata Knight Rider T-shirt, obviously free, in support of Mr. Arayan Khan and his lovely father Shah Rukh.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
While Paramveer Singh is on the lookout, no one can find him. He's absconding with all kinds of,
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, from simple extortion all the way to really, really horrendous crimes, which I can't mention. But they can't find him. I find it very hard to understand how you can't find a high-profile ex-police commissioner for so many
Yeah,
weeks.
that's very
No,
weird. I know.
he
He's on the run though.
Osama. See, I mean, like let's think about it this way, right? Osama bin Laden hid next to the Pakistani military
For 2 years at
headquarters
least, I think. Yeah.
for a long period of time, right? It's a question of how badly you want to find them, right? In this
Oh,
case, how badly do
No,
people
no,
want to find them?
slightly lower. Your mic slightly low. Yeah, that's it.
I thought the standard of the show. Okay, so how much lower can we go? I thought we've hit a point where mathematically I thought we've the finite point. Yeah, but coming back to this whole thing, I what if he's in lockup? Like in the sense, the best place
Mhm.
to not find him is in the police areas. What if he's right there, a police station or something? That's the one place you'll never look for him.
What if he's
Yeah,
arrested under a different name? You mean like under a different alias?
No, they
Alias
haven't
or
arrested him because the whole play is that the Maharashtra government obviously is not too keen on arresting him, and the central government is. So once this happens, you've always got friends in high places, so
yeah,
it
that's
works a
true.
very different,
But he
as
definitely
against
has so
poor
many
Vijay
more
Mallya.
secrets, right?
He said, "Let's get him," for example.
Yeah,
Uh,
he definitely has so many more secrets that we are not privy to. Like this has to be like just the tip of the iceberg. This restaurant scandal, the whole
and
Sachin
who are we
Vaze thing.
kidding? If Paramveer Singh in Mumbai are one case, you think it doesn't happen across pan India? You think this is not happening like wherever there's
Very,
business and
very,
commerce to
it's
be
possible
made
for sure.
uh, with all our established? I, probably Amit, it happens all over the world and we don't even know about it. There's just a marginal line that you don't cross, right?
well,
You take a commission of 5% or 2% where you can look the other way. So when you take bigger commissions between government servant, business person, and vendor, when they all collaborate together, it's all about how much money is
so
actually. being
I,
pushed.
I, I think so. Basically, this is my thesis around this, right? And I thought about this a little bit, right? That as societies get more literate, more advanced, more kind of honest, if you will, right? What winds up happening is the nature of this stuff changes. It no longer becomes like, hey, cash in suitcases. It becomes an issue of influence peddling. It becomes an issue of you have the right kind of influence, you apply it in the right kind of way, you make sure you make the right kinds of friends. Your friends will take care of you in the long run, right? But this the blatancy with which, like, cash exchanges hands right now, this is a developing world problem. This is not as much of a first world problem. Not saying it never happens there, but it's a
But if you look at New York and Chicago, of course, when they were slightly more developing
but that's
world,
it, that we were in the
uh,
developing world time. Yeah, exactly.
but the
If you
packed
look
out
at,
package from the beat cop all the way to the top cop, I mean,
yeah.
and that was the way you talk, you see this mafia interviews that are going on now where they expose their style of functioning. Like, so India, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, really? I mean, it's not like they kill everybody, it's more about 90% is business. That murder and all is a very last resort thing. It's basically business.
Yeah.
It's only
No,
when some
yeah, I mean,
pig-headed
like,
guy doesn't cooperate. Why don't you cooperate with corruption? Everybody can make money. I like it. I don't see the problem. As long as the business is generated.
no, but
Yeah,
there are a
but
lot of problems.
Paramveer Singh, coming back to him, not to get personal, but I saw him on a boat going to Alibag between the two pandemics when he was very
Uh,
much a commissioner. He held up our boat. Finally, we saw the last car arrive, which was with the red thing and all that, and he sailed into the thing, and he came out as a talking to friends in tight short pants. I kid you not. That
mhm.
Maya wears, literally 14-year-old girl kind of short pants and really tight t-shirt and very dandy looking. Huh? I mean, I wouldn't say it was quite fashionable, no doubt about that, but just
Yeah.
didn't probably suit the profile in my conservative mind. This from me with my torn clothes. But we all passed the comment. Is that Mumbai Commission? I can't remember Rubero or Samra or the guys that were there before when we were young. I just wouldn't picture them in tight shorts and tight t-shirt hanging out
No,
on a boat. But hey,
hanging on a boat,
that's not
maybe,
a
right? I
crime.
mean,
That's not his
yeah,
crime, by the way. Yeah,
yeah.
let's be clear.
But I mean, like, yeah, the it's interesting, right? I mean, like, in the sense that I feel like he's one of the he's always been a interesting, colorful kind of guy, right? In that sense, he's always been a he's been an outspoken guy, if you will, right? Which is generally not the profile. Like, even someone like, like, people talk about Rakesh Maria, and they talk about, like, how he was doing a lot of interviews and stuff like that, but still you rarely heard him, saw him, anything like that. Whereas Paramveer Singh was, even when he was
But
not the commissioner, he was a very outspoken kind of guy.
Rakesh Maria liked the publicity. I won't say that is a
Yeah,
fair accusation because he attended all the parties. He was there
he
everywhere.
did,
We sort of saw him
but
around a lot,
he
which
did, but he
is
wasn't like a talk in the press kind of guy. No, he didn't do that much of that.
but it's just that
I
it's
don't feel
become
like
even the visibility is more in any case because of the
that is
medium
probably
growing.
true.
So
That's probably true.
these guys are all embracing it. They're happy to
Yeah,
come on TV. They're happy to have their own channels. So, commissioner will have his own Insta. Police commissioner doing push-ups early morning, whatever. It's all going to be there. That's
I'm
the way of
sure
the
it will.
world. But
Yeah.
these are not the crimes. I was just pointing out that it just looked odd from our old world conservatism to see this tough Mumbai police commissioner sort of position, and then the kind of outfit he was in was more like a young villain, someone going for a jog. So it just was totally different picture for me. Oh, also, and he held up the boat, which for me
Hey,
is the biggest crime.
it's Monday, no vocabulary test?
Oh,
Yeah,
vocabulary
so
test.
nice.
I
Why?
forgot.
What's going on?
I
What
forgot.
the hell, Silvery? The old man's losing it. You got to say,
No, no,
bro, Monday vocabulary test.
no. I was
Some
waiting for you to finish.
youngsters.
I had written it down. I've written it down. That vocabulary test.
And
My
especially
choice.
since one guy wrote in and says
I'll
he
show it.
hate he hates it. I thought we should continue it. No, just in the spirit of
Yeah, of course.
if you can
Till
irritate one
everyone
person
hates it.
every day, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad. What could be? I don't know. A lot of us are like that, aren't they? If somebody says don't do it and we have to do it, this contrarian personality thing. There are lots of us out
Yeah,
there
of
like that.
course.
The
Yep.
moment the guy says, "Okay, don't touch the paint," boom, you got to touch the paint. I mean, when they have that sign saying "Don't touch the painting" in the Louvre, in my honeymoon with my wife, I'm like, I got to touch the painting once. I could have come all the way from France and not put. I'm an Indian. How can I not touch the painting? So I put my finger close. Because Mona Lisa, you can't come close to. They put things on top and the frames and glass panes and all that. But I put my finger close. But the wife was like a vigilant inspector. She's so embarrassed. I think amongst Indians, generally one spouse is embarrassed of the other spouse. It's almost like par for the course, especially in foreign conditions, because one of us will be obnoxious in some way. Not being well schooled in the way of the
Yeah.
West. Like chewing gum. Is chewing gum a crime?
In
The
Singapore.
wife
I
threw
don't
me out
think
of the room
anywhere
for
else.
chewing gum loudly. She
It's
said it was
annoying to
loud,
people.
but it was. How do you chew softly? I tried.
No, but I
It
mean,
doesn't
like
work.
there are people who have like it's like a phobia, right? I mean, like it's called masticophobia or something like that. People have a fear of chewing. Like when you hear the chewing sound, and it just like basically, not sorry, not fear. You know that there's a chalk on blackboards like makes you kind of
That's different. That's a horrible sound. I hate
no.
that.
So chewing does that to some people. The
No,
sound of
she just
chewing
finds it
does
ill
that to some
mannered.
people.
It's not like she's going bad. And that is that my head cringes and all. Sylvie, don't you get upset? Sylvie's frozen. Oh no,
No,
he's
I'm
just a
here.
No,
stoic man. A man of low principles. Fair enough.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so she threw me out of the Louvre, but if we have to get on with it, I'll
Okay,
tell you that story some other time.
sure.
Because I couldn't find my way back to El Dorado, the motel, because I had nothing but the name and the guy. There's no GPS, whatever. So what's El Dorado? He doesn't know either. Sounds more Spanish than French. Long story. Okay, so here's the word. It's elenchus. Elenchus. It's a noun. Elenchus. Not like what are you
uh,
writing? What are you doing with your hands, Silvery?
No, no, I'm writing the word down, spelling.
Elenchus.
Yeah. Okay.
There. Great. Yeah.
Elenchus.
It's a noun. The plural is elenchi. Elenchi. My pronunciation may be a little off because you
yeah,
may not believe this. I didn't know of this word. Yeah.
yeah, no kidding.
Elenchus.
It's probably Elenchus, right? Elenchus. It's
It
probably like a
probably is. Thank you, a wise
Ve-
bird.
And
It probably
Ilankai, like
is.
a Ilankai.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now you know who the Dehati is. It's all proven. My
Uh,
wife is right. Uh, so Elenchus or Elenchus.
I got no idea what this
no
word
idea.
means.
Guys, you're not even
Like
trying anymore. It's like
because
you've
dude,
been beaten into submission.
it's not even a word that like you can make something out of it, right? You give me a word which I can try it. Oh fuck!
I thought you'll rise to the
Man.
occasion.
I'm sorry, I just saw the worst joke.
Yeah, I saw the worst.
What,
I,
what,
I was thinking
what?
of something like that, but I didn't want to say it.
Okay, say it.
Yeah.
Say your graphic,
Yeah.
dirty, double
Say it.
meaning, whatever. It doesn't.
What Shovik Bakshi has written in the
Let's get it
chat.
out of the
Sorry.
way because whoever's listening will now want to hear it
Just you
also.
can see it. It's on the screen. All right, say it. When Ellen DeGeneres gives.
Ah, ah.
See,
Okay,
so I was
firstly,
there's a Elenchus and
firstly, and
Elenchi, right? So I was going for the
okay,
Elenchi,
okay,
Elenchi,
okay.
which
Yeah,
is no,
okay,
which is a nicer joke, which is just like
okay.
when Ellen DeGeneres wants to figure out what her chi looks like, like her energies and
Energy.
whatever.
Okay.
But this guy
Yours
went
is
the
yours is still
dirty route.
vegetarian. But
Yeah,
and now it's
exactly. That's what.
surprising. I would have switched that if I had to guess as a gambler. I'd have Silvery gave us the sex one. And well, anyway, that's done now.
I
We
was going to find
apologize
that
to
out.
Ellen DeGeneres for, on
Yeah.
so many levels. A, because she's a same-sex loving personality, so that would
That's
not even accrue. So you insulted her by, you know, going across the
yeah.
gender divide. And not to mention that on a sexist level and blah 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 blah. Horrible. What a great opening post Diwali you've given us. Okay, I'll give you the answer. It's elenchus or elencus, noun. It's a logical refutation, especially the Socratic method of eliciting truth by question and answer. So it's how you get information, basically. You
Okay,
use the
dude, that's a
uh,
made up word.
that- no
No,
this
not a
this
made up word
holy
in the sense that there is it's a. I'm not saying it's a made up word. I mean more like it's a word where there are other words which say what it's trying to say in an easier way.
it's the Socratic method of eliciting
It,
truth by
it's
question and
interrogation.
answer.
It's
Yes,
interrogation.
exactly
So
that. And what
isn't
did you
that
give
okay?
me? Ellen DeGeneres having oral sex. That's what you gave me.
I did not give you that. Shavik Bakchi gave you that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Amit, you're off
Yeah.
the hook, and Mr. Bakshi, you're promoted to guest from next week. Since at least you at least gave us an answer. Well, these two didn't. Well, the chi, I suppose, somewhere there. I think it might very much be key now. I think about it and cuss. Okay, so that's it.
No. It's Socratic based, right? So it has to be Elankas because it is it's a Greek word. So that would be the pronunciation would be with a ch.
Although
Ka.
some will say Socrates was Brazilian, if you know your football, but we'll leave that
Okay.
for now. Yeah.
I
You
will
do know,
leave
no?
that for now because I don't know my
South
football.
American football is filled with names like Julius Caesar, pronounced with H, of
Oh,
course,
really?
Julius Caesar.
Okay.
Yeah. Socrates, very famous. Socrates is a very famous footballer in a World Cup winning side. Yeah. And
Okay.
I've
I
got,
didn't.
I love Brazilian footballers. Their names, some of their names are just, there's one guy who's called the donkey. I think Dunga. And his
Okay.
name's Donkey.
Okay.
That's the name. It's
But you
fabulous.
mean his name translates to donkey or his name is
Yeah,
actually
that,
donkey?
that's a pet name which is kept as the main name. Pele is the pet name, like the Pearl, uh,
Huh.
Okay.
Black Pearl, basically translates. Edson Arantes de Nascimento is his real name, and Pele is the pet name, but nobody knows him as Edson. Nobody calls him Edson. Edson pass the ball. It's Pele. That's it. Okay,
Hmm.
guys, it's 10:20. Again, you wasted my time. Let's get
Okay.
on with it. What was our topic of the day?
No, second word. Only one word
No,
today.
I've brought it down to one after the criticism. That's the worst part of the
Oh, okay,
show
okay, okay.
out of all five
Okay, okay.
days. So we'll
Fine.
keep it to one to keep ourselves
All right.
happy. You want
So,
another one? I do have the book.
no, no, it's fine. Whatever you want.
No, no,
It's
no, no,
the
no,
less
no.
we have to
Go on.
think.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. You can say
Uh,
no, bro. If it's painful, you can say no. It's fine. Yeah.
I mean, see, I have not gotten a single word up till now, so it's better for me statistically. Just the amount of words, like I look better if I don't answer
Well,
multiple
if you use the
try to
Elan
give
Cuss
answers.
method, you would. You have to elicit the
You're questioning,
truth
asking,
from me. Yeah.
but you give us the answer
But
only at the end.
you're
No, yeah,
you're but you're also not picking words which are elencussable, right? I mean, like in the sense that this is not a word that can be derived. Give us a derivable word and we'll figure that out. We'll play with
Well, you know
that,
the
right? But
rich
these are
kid who
not
gets the bat
derivable.
and the stumps and the balls and all that, and he may also make sure he wins after all that. It's a bit like that. Now, come on.
It is like that, yeah.
Where's the sense of democracy? You're living in India, for God's sake. This show mirrors what's happening out there. Streams of consciousness. Pay attention. All right. Silvery, otherwise you'll again not
yes,
get a single
topics.
topic. We
Yeah, no,
had
no.
one very nice one
So
involving our South
we already talked a
African
little bit
born
about.
entrepreneur. Oh, sorry. Well, whatever you want to
Sorry,
do.
what? Okay.
I thought you go
So
to the
yeah,
South African born.
we can
You
talk
do
about
know
Elon
he's
Musk
South
also. Yes.
African, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct, correct. We can talk about Elon
Yeah.
Musk, but before that, we already talked a little bit about Aryan Khan, and
Yeah.
in the
All right.
Aryan Khan case, there's kind of like a small development,
I
which is
had that here.
kind of big development where the NCB zonal director, who was the one Sameer Wankhede, who was in charge of the whole thing,
By the way,
has since the last time we talked been removed from all the celebrity drug cases that he was a part of. In his case, in his stead, an IPS officer named Sanjay Kumar Singh has been put. So Sameer Wankhede has been removed from all these things. He's also under investigation now because of Nawab Malik, the NCP leader Nawab Malik. He has been speaking out against Sameer Wankhede,
so
saying that he did
I'll
it for
just
fame, he did
I'll
it
just
for money, he did it for extort. He want to
can just
extort money
interject for
from the
one
Khans.
second. It's an
Yeah,
SIT team from the, so it's not like a new independent authority. Okay,
no,
it's
no,
a yeah. So it's an investigating team, that a special investigating team. I think it stands for SIT, from the NCB. So basically, it's I don't want to say, how do I say this? If you want to really investigate something, it has to be a neutral committee from outside,
yeah.
right or
It
no?
can't be you
That's
yourself
not
investigating
happening.
your own.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
this is like your brother investigating your sister, something like
yeah,
that. So if
yeah.
you, yeah, well, it is, Amit. I mean, it's more like a token
Yeah,
sort of
but I mean,
situation.
it depends on what you, again, it
They
depends
want to
on
clean the
what.
mess themselves. But if there is a mess, then they should not be cleaning it, because then you're going to think that you'll be protecting your own.
But the
That would be the
question then becomes
premise.
is how big is the group which you consider your own over here, right? I mean, like, is it now? Is it just the NCB? Is it the Maharashtra police? Is it the India IPS? I mean, like, what is the subset? Oh, sorry, what is the grouping that you're taking here? Depends on that, right? I think that the people who the narrower the group, see, there is a benefit to a narrow grouping as well. The problem is that we are, and I fall in this as well, right? Is that we are so kind of we're so caught up with our cynicism, right? That in actuality, the closer the grouping is to the event, the more likely they are to have the context necessary to be able to unravel it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, we just think everybody's corrupt, so we're like, yeah, they're
No, no,
just
no,
covering it
no.
up.
No, my point is simply this: you don't want the shit to hit the fan or the
Hmm.
egg to hit your face, in a sense. So if you are trying to investigate your own family shortcomings, you'll try and find a way to make sure that the family still looks good, even if you want to take action against the son.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean? So
I
while at the end
agree
of the
with.
day he's representing the NCB, and an independent committee would be somebody from outside the NCB. I don't know which authority, but some central authority, which would then say, okay, we don't know who Sameer Wankhede or Sanjay Kumar Singh or anybody is. Independently, we say NCB, good or bad performance in the case of Aryan Khan, etc., and the other celebrities. Were they persecuted, or was there enough evidence and you were doing the right thing? So anyway, it's a gray area, honestly.
It's all a gray area, which is why the context matters, right? That I mean, like today, if you ask the NC, and again, remember I was telling you about that law, that article from the print, which had all the like narcotics bureau law in it, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is that the narcotics thing is so different from how normal police procedure
They have,
operates.
you mentioned the whole thing is follows a different set of protocols. So we are misinformed sometimes when we say that bail should be given on X reason or whatever, because they don't follow that.
Right. Exactly. So
It's
then now the thing
ultra
is
virus.
context also context matters, right? That now if you ask somebody who deals in another context to evaluate what's happening in this context, right? So my point is that it's not as clear cut. The problem is that there's this patina of corruption across everything. right? Which just basically kind of makes us cynical about processes in that sense. This might be the right process, it might not be. The I really
I
don't know.
would expect an independent committee of say three learned people like Raki Sawant. Um, Give me two other big boss aspirants. I don't know their
Kamal
names
Khan.
anymore. Kamal
Kamal Khan.
Khan. Oh yes, KRK. He should be
Kamala
there.
KRK.
Khan, yeah, KRK.
And
Um,
since you're following Big Boss this season, give me one name which is contemporary.
from
Uh,
Big Boss,
Ishan.
Salman Khan.
Ishan.
Shamita Shetty? I don't know. I'm not.
Shamita was
I
last year,
don't
no?
know.
God, guys,
She's this year
how
again. She's back to back
you
2 years.
can't do 2 years in a row? That's cheating.
She is. She is. So
I
she
want
was
to
in
file a.
OTT.
I want an
And the
SIT on Big Boss.
core, I think like a couple of finalists from the OTT
Oh,
season are
right,
on the current season. Is what
right,
man.
right,
This is
right.
I don't
So
watch it. I should say
they
this is
got
the
Hey,
you
come
secondhand
they
on,
build it
information
in
I
the
have.
building. Yeah,
Antariksh,
yeah, yeah.
own it, man. If you watch
Own
it,
it.
I
own
don't
it.
watch
There's
it.
nothing. There's
I
nothing
don't.
wrong with watching it.
There's too much
Well,
information.
I know, but
That
it's
means
just I
you
was told this because a friend of mine was watching it recently, and I asked them these dumb questions. I basically elenchused them to tell me about this.
you Ellen cuss them, did
I
you,
know.
sweet boy? Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
right, yes.
I used to do the same thing because in the early 90s, when my mom was watching Bold and the Beautiful, a soap opera, which Sylvie probably won't know, um,
I'm not about
I
music. Yeah.
could actually, if the girls in my college are discussing it, I could actually take part in that conversation because just out of default, not even paying attention, when you're young, things go in your head. You're drinking your Tang or whatever, and the TV's on loud, and my mom is reacting to it. So I could, when they would talk about in college, let's say Shalini and Pooja are talking, good old Cyrus would also, yes, Storm is having an affair with Daniela, and they're like, wow. I'm like, oops, oops. Hopefully, no male saw me. You watch Bald and the Beautiful. Oh god, that's horrible. Yeah, the wrong information always. How do we always get it in the head and never goes? The info we don't need.
So
Yeah,
So anyway,
sorry.
we
So
didn't get to the main part
you're
of the
the point. The
story.
point.
The main
Yeah.
part of the story. So basically, yeah, just Sameer Wankhede has been removed from this. Nawab Malik has been basically tweeting stuff and giving interviews against Sameer Wankhede and all that stuff. Right now, Nawab Malik is being sued by Sameer Wankhede's father for defamation, saying that Sameer Wankhede's father is saying that Nawab Malik has been calling them frauds, has been questioning their family's religious beliefs, saying that they are not even Hindus. Uh, the lawyer has also basically made a couple of more arguments, basically along these lines only. But that's what now Malik is now being sued by
I hope
Sameer
he's not
Wankede's father.
including the cost of the garments and the shoes and the belt and all, which we used in our show last week because
But again,
honestly,
like, how do we
you don't have
know
to
if
spin that
that's
kind of
true?
humor.
I think, see, it's very
No,
easy for
it's not
someone.
true. You're just throwing the
Yeah,
thing on the hoping it sticks. You
exactly,
throw it on the wall
Yeah.
till it sticks, right?
exactly.
The
Yeah,
Rico
whatever
style,
sticks.
just gone
Exactly.
to accusing of things, and we suddenly decide Samir Wankhede is all over the place. There's also
Yeah,
research to show that he comes from a rich family, landed family, zamindari family on one side, and his mother's side apparently has a lot of land, etc., etc. So it's possible that he has access to wealth. We
yeah.
had a top cop some time back, Javed. Javed Ahmed, I don't know if you guys remember him. He's from some
Yeah, I do.
royal family of Lucknow. He used to take 1 rupee in salary. Okay, it was not known.
Okay.
So there's no question of corruption. He was also just
Mhm.
like Rakesh Maria. He was there. He was very, very learned guy.
Right.
Lovely. I
Yeah,
love
yeah. I
that guy.
remember. I remember the name.
Great
Yeah.
fellow. And he could talk about anything. One day he came to the Oval and hung out with me for 5 minutes because he saw the German Shepherd. He was that kind of guy. And so he's
Oh,
not your typical officer from any angle. So it's
right.
possible that money, I'm saying, can come from other sources. And for what
Yeah.
I know, most bureaucrats are really well educated, and plenty of them are super honest, super straight, and really great guys and guys you can hang out with, frankly speaking. But the press is out there. It's all gone now pro Aryan, and the shit is hitting the fan, and something will stick, rightly or wrongly. So
So,
defamation. Can I just bring up the defamation chances are not great across the world? Defamation cases you don't win easily because it's damn tough to make those charges stick. A famous case being Imran Khan versus Botham and Lamb back in the day in the 80s or 90s rather, where they accused. Though Imran accused them of being racist, etc., etc., and then they sued him for defamation, loss of reputation, and all. Then they lost. They lost strong because it's
so
very
I
tough
think
to. Yeah,
so the laws are different in different places, right? I mean, like in the US, it's almost impossible to win a defamation suit, right?
and Europe.
In England, it's a lot easier than it is in Europe, because what happens in the US, basically, you have to be actively seeking to harm the person to be able to win a defamation suit, right? Mistakes are not defamation, right? Whereas in Europe, mistakes are also defamation as long as you have affected the rights. In India, civil defamation apparently is even tougher, which is why everything is criminal defamation.
I think it goes a little bit the other way. How do you prove in that case I mentioned that you are not a racist? you know,
Well, you don't prove your. Well, so again, I guess
so,
that
so
in this,
that's there's no like certificate saying that you're not a racist.
there isn't.
So so then
It's
how do
proving
you
a negative.
so when a person says of a different ethnicity and color or whatever says that you're a racist sort of person, it's difficult for you to prove that you're not.
It is.
Where's
I mean,
the
that's
Michael, by the way, Michael Vaughan, ex-England captain, has been dropped by BBC from a show he hosts on their digital, which is very
wow.
popular, called the Tuffers and Vaughan Show. Because
Okay.
now, from 2009, there's two Pakistani born or Pakistani descent Brits who were playing for Yorkshire felt that he, used racist comments. Like famously in one dressing room thing, he said, "Oh God, there's a whole lot of you here." As in the whole lot of you, as in Asians.
Okay.
What are we going to do now?
Hmm.
Words to that effect, you know. Maybe he was
It's
trying to say
a
it tongue in cheek, but they were very. After that, there were many whatever. So he's been dropped while
no.
they're looking at the situation.
So
He's
this
not
is an
actually gone and
issue.
called anyone a coolie or what are those words they used to use against people like
No.
us.
So
None of that.
right now
It's
in
just
basketball is happening, right? One of the team
yeah.
owners of the Phoenix Suns has been accused of all kinds of things, right? Racist, using the N word in different contexts, pulling a bunch of racist stuff, pulling a bunch of sexist stuff. The HR was not there. It's like a massive story that came out on ESPN on Friday, and there's an investigation and stuff going on. But now the thing is that so even
But they
things
have it on record. Has he used
they,
expletives on
so
record, profanity, racial
so not on
discriminatory terms?
record, but the guy who reported the story has 70 different interviews that he has spoken to, out of which three names were on record. One of the names is the ex-coach of the Phoenix Suns, right? The ex-head coach. So
So witness corroboration on record.
there's witness corroboration from multiple people, right? So like he's got like multiple people saying that this person said this person said this. The thing is that that guy also said it in so many different ways that like saying in a way that, oh, if this person like you say, if this person can use the n word, why can I not use the n word,
I think we
right?
need
When
to
he's
be a
talking
little
about,
flexible. You should be allowed to be a racist thrice in your life. On three
okay.
recorded statements, you should be given the signal, green signal. On the fourth one, you should be taken down and from your job or whatever.
But again,
The-
see, I think the matter of degrees matter here, right? Like what this guy did is clearly not acceptable, right? You can't be going to like your like one of the things he said, right, is that these N words need an N word coach, which is why he wanted to hire a black coach. Now that's pretty racist. I'm sorry,
All he
but
had to
there's
do was
no.
say, maybe a black coach will suit our team better and it would have been fine.
But, yeah,
I mean, at least
again,
he
you don't.
wouldn't. I know
That's
you don't
still
say it, but if
racist,
he
right?
said that, it
Yeah.
wouldn't sound as
the
racist
the
as
way
the.
the way you say that is, can we find somebody who is more culturally appropriate for our
Gosh,
team or
a lot of
something like
hard
that?
work, bro. I mean, I
It is
can't
a
do
lot of
events
hard work.
anymore if you do this. I mean, everything we'll have to look at and check everything and double.
You have
The
to
whole
look at
line will
some
take
things
15
though.
minutes.
Cyrus, are you going to use the N word? You're not, no.
I find that
There are
I find
very
that really
few.
hard to believe that a guy in that position from their culture makes that mistake, which is, I mean, it doesn't
He
make any sense.
apparently
It's
did it
stupid.
aggressively. It is stupid. Listen, this
But
is the same
then he's an
guy.
arrogant racist because he's really a
He's an
sense of
arrogant,
arrogance.
racist
And that I'm a
asshole.
very powerful
Okay,
man.
so one thing which has came out 2 years ago, right? This came out in a 2019 article about the same guy. He was pissed off with one of his executives, and because he was annoyed and he wanted to show them that, something. I don't know, I don't remember exactly why, but the end result was he basically put a goat in this guy's office over the weekend, like a live goat, and so the goat basically shat all over the office
Why?
because he's an asshole. But
Yeah,
so
that's
people,
stupid.
but I mean, like, people like this
Or was he
exist
trying
in
to
the
say you're the
world.
greatest of all time?
I don't know. That's what I think he was trying to, like,
Good.
I think it was a Michael Jordan comparison in some sense. I think there was something related to greatest of all
It's a
time in that, but
sarcastic
I'm not.
dig.
Yeah, but it was something like sarcastic, right? I mean, like in that sense. So it's a really so
God.
this guy's an ass, right? But again, the point being that the same mechanisms that are used to call out people like this, right, who is clearly problematic, are being used to call out people who are not problematic or who are not particularly problematic, who might say something that a few people don't like.
Anyway, coming back to Nawab Malik and the case in question, as Nawab Malik's lawyer, I have to say he's alleged all these things. But if he says he's got expensive clothes, where's the defamation? How did he afford the belt? Okay, so he's asking how do you afford the belt? I don't see the defamation
No,
really.
no, but
So
if
If
I,
he's
it's
I
not
asking
true,
for,
then it's
is
defamation, basically,
if he's
right?
converted to his, no, no. So
Isn't
where's
it?
the
If it's not
where's
true, then
also
it's defamation. If
there
they
is
investigate
a
and turns out to be true,
What is the
right?
untruth? The untruth about their whether he was playing the Hindu card and while he was
No,
Muslim.
no, but
Uh,
so there is a they are imputing motive to Nawab Malik, right? They're saying that you came after us after we arrested your son-in-law,
Hmm.
right? They're
Yeah,
the
imputing that
first
that
time,
motive
also.
to
yeah,
him.
Like,
They're
yeah,
yeah.
imputing that to him. They're saying that, hey, the reason why you're saying all this stuff, true or not, is because we basically inconvenienced you. So I mean, there is
I think it'd be very tough for them to prove any of that is right.
it
The motive
is,
may be there, but it's very tough to prove his each and every specific statement
yeah.
because most of them are just in the air. Just read it the
I
yeah.
way
mean,
they've been said. They're all recorded. He can go and replay them. He's smart enough to have been very careful. He's been
I
asking questions. Can we find out why? If I'm saying, can we find out why a man who's born Hindu then converts to Islam and then uses the Hindu card to get a job?
yeah,
Okay, the Dalit card via the Hindu route or whatever. Technically, this is not about religion. This is about the process being misused, right? If you're smart enough, I mean, that really is it. Then of course it's got that tinge of us being in India, so people start looking at it as communal issue, and it's not really a communal issue. It's like I can't be a Parsi and claim Hindu quota process. That's fair. So I'm saying
right.
he's asked the question. He's not definitely said 100%. If he said has he done that? Oh, by the way, do we have a disclaimer for this show? For God's sake, tell me yes.
We do.
We do. Yes. So those of you writing in the stupid points,
We
don't
do
worry.
on
We're
audio.
doing
We
it.
don't on video. Actually, we need to change that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
So
disclaimer, guys, we don't. These are just
everybody,
talks.
is it Manoj? Let's do a
These are.
Manoj Kumar. Then what do we do? How
This,
do we do the show?
okay.
Hey,
So
we take a break.
one quick thing.
Let's
Uh,
take
Yeah,
a let's take a break.
we have break and come back.
let,
Okay, cool.
let,
I have a question about this. We have a
no,
question
finish,
about
finish,
this Nawab Malik thing.
finish it. Then we'll take the break. Otherwise,
Okay,
we'll
so
lose
I
the
want to
plot.
ask. I don't. Again, I'm not that into politics. I want to ask what you guys think of Nawab Malik as a politician in general. I know, Cyrus. I think you've said that you probably like him, right?
When I say like, it's not like I want to hug all these people. I just find them, it's fun to watch on television because I like that kind of banter and that style. It's a little sledging that's going on, let's face it. It's like cricket
Yeah, yeah, that's
sledging
true.
now in the political field. So they're having a dig at each other. I do enjoy that. Well, I like the fact that they fight with each other and then nobody else is getting harmed in the bargain. But please, it's not that I love or hate any of them. I have no relationship and I don't know anyone well enough. You've got to look at what their performance is before you rate a politician, not what he just says on television. But for what he says on
Yeah,
television, yes, he's definitely a little charismatic and interesting, and he's got that style of speaking. He's just having a lot of fun. He seems to me like that boy in class that you grew up with, who's always asking the teacher slightly cheeky questions. That's all he's doing at the moment. But what he did do, again in an Ornob style, is that he turned this case on its head, single-handedly almost, by doing his version of Ornob. And this is I just keep sending out these things, and next thing you know, Mr. Wankhede is being investigated, rightly or wrongly. So you got to understand the power of the press, bro. The power
Yeah.
of the medium, the internet and television. It's not really
yeah,
about the truth. It's the fact that we can reach people. Once we can reach people, we can sway opinions, including all the way up to the judiciary, whatever
So
people say.
this is a part of the problem of the triangle, right? The triangle being that the people who influence stuff is actually relatively small. Um, Twitter in India, right? It seems like such a powerful, important place where all this news is breaking all the time. All these conversations. There's 30 million people on Twitter in India. That's nothing, right? 30 million out of 1,500 million people.
Nothing.
It's nothing. It's like it's like less than a percent, if I'm not mistaken.
It's almost a Parsi statistic. What the hell are
Yeah,
you saying?
and
Yeah.
Twitter is saying it has 30 million users. We all know how Twitter works. How many people are actually using
yeah.
it? Of the 30 million that they say are using it, right? I mean, like, probably not even, like, maybe there are probably maybe a million people in India who are posting on Twitter on a regular basis, and these people are dominating all the conversation.
I may have to use it very quickly. That's why we take a break and come back because there's an offer out there on the Twitter universe to change the constitution and the functioning future of Elon Musk's company. So I want to
Okay.
be part of that because I believe I have a lot to offer when we come back. And this is true. This is
Okay.
not making up. In case you don't
Yeah,
know.
why not?
But as we go into break, Silvery has sent me a lovely Ah, okay. With lots of instructions to boot, so I better not read them out by mistake. I mean, how amateur can we be at the end of the day? Okay, here goes. Slay Coffee. I took a wrong turn yesterday. No, not while driving. I'm talking about the Slay X Blend Coffee, the wrong turn latte. See how I did that? Now that's communication. I actually said it. People thought it was a wrong turn. It was not a wrong turn. So it was the googly, the ball that went the other way because you thought it was a wrong turn, but it was a right turn in a sense because you're talking about the wrong turn latte, which is a positive thing. Sorry about that. It's just so perfect for me because it's India's strongest coffee. And as you know, I'm all about strength. I mean, just look at my boys here, flex the biceps, which are too small. Strength is all I care about. It's delicious, unsweetened coffee that just kickstarts your brain when you need it. So, as a perfect coffee to start your day. I dare say I'll be taking a lot more wrong turns from now on. The coffee, it's a latte. I also got myself a graveyard. Again, not talking about the place where I go at night to talk to my friends. I'm talking about the Slay X Coffee Blend Americano. The graveyard. Lovely names, now, guys. These are the kind of names you
Yeah.
remember. What's the point of
Yep.
naming a coffee? You, it's a black coffee. A black coffee. Firstly, that causes all kinds of intonations. Graveyard is absolutely amazing. Slay X is India's strongest coffee. It's perfect for my mornings, especially when I feel like I need a real pick me up, like a Monday morning after a long Diwali break. It could well be your next favorite blend of coffee as well. So, what are you waiting for? Order India's best rated coffee today on Swiggy and Zomato. And tell him not to drink it on the way because it's that tasty. Use code MySlay on Zomato to get 50% off on your Slay coffee. Slay Coffee, India's best coffee experience. And now I forgot my protein coffee box, cup shaker thingy.
That's okay.
It's there somewhere in the back, but can't go back.
What we should do
So,
is there's a Slay Coffee somewhere near your office. We should get them to deliver to you every morning. Come and drop a coffee
yeah,
off. Have a coffee off.
wife drinks coffee, Badal drinks coffee. I got enough coffee
Yeah.
drinkers here also. It'll never go to
We,
waste if I've left. Yeah,
we should
don't worry
figure
about
that
it.
out.
How can there be not be a Slay coffee in Fountain?
There is. I don't think it's not. I don't think it's found. I
Definitely.
think it's.
Definitely.
There's one
Somewhere in South
around there
Bombay.
somewhere. There's one around there somewhere. I
There you
don't know
go.
where
These
exactly.
are all coffee areas, bro. Everybody orders
Yeah.
coffee in these places. This is what
No,
I
and
tell you.
again, the idea behind
Don't
their
judge by me.
business is such
Uh,
that I would be surprised if they didn't have one over there. We'll have to check.
but how coffee
Cool.
has
Yeah.
changed. Where you go down for your morning cup of joe or whatever. Now coffee comes to you. The pandemic
Yeah.
has played a big role, I suppose. But I think the next generation is going to be really happy this way. The whole thing is everything just comes to you. You
Dude,
don't go anywhere.
I've gotten so addicted to ordering everything. Like my family
Yeah.
Diwali gifts, I ordered through Swiggy. I didn't even like think about it. I just ordered through the Swiggy and then I sent them to everybody. It was just easier, right, than having to deal with like picking them up, they getting them delivered, doing this, doing that, all of that. Just did it
I
all
used
through
to
that.
get scared to order the bachelor's delivery, although I
Uh,
love the strawberry and cream because I thought it'll fall and spill and all the way they
they
pack it.
do a
And
good
then
packaging.
initially, yeah. But I mean, this coffee, Slay Coffee, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is you don't worry. The guy is coming on, whatever he's coming on, the
Yeah.
coffee is perfect when it arrives.
Yeah.
You got to say,
I'll,
No,
I'll
but
tell you something
Silvery.
crazy. I'll tell you something crazy. A friend of mine, so you know Kashyap, Amit, you know Kashyap. We're working with him on a show about crypto with Rohan Joshi. And he recently on Myntra called for a pair of socks. Okay. In the order, instead of socks, he opened it up and it was a bra. Okay. And so he tried to return it to Myntra. Myntra says that, this is one of those items that we can't, because the undergarments, right? So they can't return it. So now he's stuck with a bra that he could not return because, dude, I didn't call for a bra.
hey,
I
what
called for
size,
socks.
yaar?
Yeah. So then he had to like
What?
tweet about it and all. And then only then they got back to him and he was able to return it. But otherwise he wouldn't have been able to return a bra he did not order, which is ridiculous.
No, but they should be able to. He should get the new product, even if he can't return
Absolutely.
this. The product that he ordered, he should get.
They were not compliant
There's
at
only
all.
one way to
So,
do
which is
this.
insane.
Kashyap has to get on Insta or wherever he's got, or his friends Insta, which has more following, and model the bra and explain to the brand that, look, I ordered socks. Clearly, this is not what I wanted.
Yeah,
You
he
know, I
has
mean,
since made a
just do
sketch
that.
about it. It happened just
Yeah.
like 2 weeks back, and he has since made a sketch about it. It was quite funny. So you guys can go check it out.
Or if the bra suits him, I mean, I'm a fine one to talk, wear it. Like, I think my bra days are now around the corner, just a matter of time. It's called age, Silvery. Lots of men
Yeah,
need
okay.
bras by the time they reach their 50s.
Right.
Let's get into Elon Musk. I want to get into because then
Yes,
again,
please.
we'll have
Yeah.
AMAs and we'll run out of time.
So a couple of things about
First
Elon
story
Musk
is
that are
yours. Yeah.
right now that right now taking place. Firstly, the UN United Nations World Food Program, the director of that program is someone named David Beasley. Okay. Hey, hi.
Uh, they're saying hi.
Yeah,
You
sure.
won't be able to hear them. And your happy Diwali is done. It's over. Now, he's in the middle of telling a story, so you can hang in the
Happy
background. But don't
Diwali.
interrupt. Yeah, you're not in the frame.
Yeah.
Sorry, Silvery.
Yeah, no problem.
Some fan,
So UN
some crazy fan
UN
from the
World
road. Watchman. Sorry.
So UN World Food Programs director named David Beasley recently he did an interview with CNN and he told CNN that say 2% of the world's richest person's wealth would be enough to end world or cure world hunger. So
Okay.
Elon Musk being the richest person in the world, 2% of his wealth would be around 2%. Someone else calculated that it on a different day it can easily go up to
2%
$8
would be
billion.
how much? Get the figure. The
$6 billion. $6 billion. it can go up to $8 million on like a good day for Elon Musk. That kind of
7
thing.
billion. Let's take a medium. 7 billion.
Okay, let's take a
Okay.
medium. Yeah.
Take
So
10.
No, but see, but see,
These guys are so full of shit. Give them twice the number they're asking for. Give them 15.
I'm thinking
uh,
7. I'm just giving the fair figure that's given. Let's not lie about the figure given. Carry on. I'm just
so
because 7 billion and there's
so then
7.3 billion people.
after so then after this case start coming forward, people firstly start doing calculations. Okay, this will happen. This is the amount of money you'll have. How will you do this? How will you do this? And so then Elon Musk also tweeted back at this person saying, okay, if you can tell me and break it down as to how my $6 billion or 2% of my wealth will help solve the problem of food shortage in the world, of world hunger, then I am all for it. I will sell my Tesla stock right now and pay you the
Okay.
amount of money you need.
So let's look at it mathematically. 7.3 billion, give or take, people in the world, out of which how many would be below the poverty line? Who will need? Because everyone shouldn't be part of this fund. You and three
Yeah,
of us
sorry.
should not be part of the fund. So what? You give me a 30%? 30%, is that a fair figure?
Listen, let's be as generous to everybody as we want to
50%?
be. Call it
50%?
$10 billion. Call it
100%?
no. I mean,
7.3
let's
billion. Because it's
make
coming
the
to less
number
than
small.
$1 a person at
Make the
100%.
numbers make the number small for the benefit of this idiot from the UN.
Okay. So
Right? So
30%.
give
So it's
more
about 3
money and
3 billion.
smaller percentage. Make it 20%, make it 15%, make it 10%. It
Okay.
doesn't matter.
2 billion people are below the poverty line and need food,
Yeah.
and you do the maths on 7 billion, which is the medium number we took rather than 6 or
Yeah.
8. Coming roughly $3.50. You'll be able
So
to give.
this is the number I'm getting of the number of people in the world who are under the poverty line.
So
Okay,
that's
I can't.
710 million. 710 million. So
That's it.
less than
Yeah.
a billion. Yeah, so
71 million,
10%.
Amit.
710 million. 710
No,
million, dude.
71 million. Can
No,
you please get
700.
it in words?
Dude,
This show will go on for hours.
it's 710 million, 13,131.
Okay, let's take your figure. It's higher, 710 million. So not even a billion.
Yeah.
And at
And
the
you're
rate
giving
of
them $7 billion. You're giving them $10 a piece.
$10 a piece for the year. Huh? It's not a
Yeah,
day
Yeah,
or
and
something.
these are, it
exactly.
says
For the year.
these are people
So,
living in extreme poverty is what
yeah.
this
So extreme
website says.
poverty,
Yeah.
we're going with that only. So
Yeah, yeah,
we're giving them
correct.
$10 a year. So that literally 80 cents a month US. 80
Dude,
cents a month
it's
US. You know,
nonsensical. The entire thing is nonsensical. If world hunger was solvable for less than $100 billion, it would have been solved
60
already.
Indian rupees. You're getting 60 Indian rupees. Here's your money for the whole year.
Oh,
Eat. I'm just, that's what we've got. This is after being very, very generous with the
Yeah.
figures. Huh? So that should end this conversation, I think. $60 a year, bro. The bigger outside fountain or where my office is earning $60 a day or more. $60 a year ain't gonna cope.
Yeah.
No way.
so another very some doctor named Dr. Eli David made a very interesting tweet. Okay, he said 2% of Elon Musk's wealth is $6 billion. Say in 2020, the UN World Food Program (WFP) raised $8.4 billion. How come it didn't solve world hunger then?
Yeah.
So this is all just
And less people, less
hyperbole.
people. All the match is now against them. Less people
Yeah,
at that point as well. So
yeah.
so now,
And the point is not that this is an easy dunk, right? Because this shit's stupid
yeah.
the way this is put on, right? But the
No,
fact is that the issues around famine and hunger, right, are not a issue of food production. They're an issue of distribution. The distribution is where the issues occur with this stuff, right? There is more than enough food created in the world to feed every single person who exists in this world. It's just created in different parts of the world that need that food.
Okay,
It,
we're getting to the larger issue here. I'm talking about the smaller issue, which is the statistical
Sorry,
bullying.
can you
Like,
just lower your mic a slight bit?
I'm talking about the
Lower it a
statistical
slight bit.
bullying.
No.
If I lower it
Sorry, now
anymore,
it's too up.
it'll touch my
No,
chest.
well,
that was too that was
no,
too low. Just slightly up.
Okay, the
Just a little above
statistical
your chin would
bullying.
be good. Yeah,
Bro, can't you see the guy here with the hand which just comes in and adjusts it from time to
yeah.
time?
Now it's
No, so I'm talking about the issue of the bullying that's going on in the world, not just even in a classroom or whatever, where people, the great Goswami does it. You throw out the statistic, and that's it. And we, for some reason, when there's maths involved, we just want to accept it and say, "Thank God, hallelujah, this is the truth." Or Elon Musk, open your wallet right now. Nobody looks at it specifically, takes it through, spends the time for the actual thought process and to see where it ends,
there's
because he
only
just throws it out.
There's only
6
one
billion,
statistic.
7
There's only one statistic that matters. 98% of all statistics quoted in public are misunderstood. That's the only statistic that matters.
or misrepresented, quite
Misunderstood. You
frankly.
just misrepresented, misunderstood, whatever you want to do, is right. They're misinterpreted because the person who is quoting a statistic at you is is shading that statistic to say what it wants to say, right? There
And you
are conflicting statistics around the same thing, but when you want to make an argument that makes a certain point, you're going to say what you want to kind of do that, right? It's
and
very rare in life that you get clarity like that.
also here what happens is you attack the capitalists all the time. This is almost like just unnecessary, and those who are crazy left, they just go berserk about it. Yeah, because of him there's world hunger. It's rubbish, because then their
Yeah.
jobs. You can look at it from either side of the coin. But
So, where was I? I was looking at this. I don't think it was part of the Elon Musk thing, right? But it was more a part of just a discussion around wealth and stuff like that, right? And the some of the reflexive kind of
we had a
this, right?
lady
Hmm,
on our show from the
Oxfam.
World Oxfam and WHO
Yeah,
or
yeah.
World Hunger
Mhm.
thing and all that, and they're also very gung ho about making the 1% or less than 1% pay for everything.
Right.
Um, I always want to look at figures, not
I
emotions.
agree.
I just think we should always, if we start with that, we can't go wrong. We look at emotions first and say it's their fault, your fault, and finger pointing doesn't help anyone. So when the guy comes up with this six, seven, make up your mind, 6, 7, or 8 billion, let's look at it. And we did. We've done it through all different processes, and I'm sorry to say, I've got 60 rupees after all the generosity that you've given in terms of overvaluing the amount of poverty there is. Please, it's not a statement of arrogance, but sometimes that figure is wrong. When you just say 48% of the world is poor, maybe it's not that. You're again throwing a figure out and makes everybody feel terrible, but maybe
Yeah.
it's very far from 48% because we don't study the actual figure and get the
No,
actual data.
you make things look the way you want it to look, right? Like it's one of the most the more sophisticated statisticians get, the easier it is to fool us about things, right? I mean, like so a very basic example, very basic example. And sports is easy, right? So let's look at sports as an example, right? What used to earlier be looked at in sports, right? Whether it was the NBA, whether it was cricket, whether anything like that, is we'd use what are called counting stats. Right, you'd use runs, you'd use wickets, you'd use catches. In basketball, you'd use points,
Very
rebounds,
tangible
assists.
statistics. Yeah.
Very this, right? Now what's happened is that as we get more sophisticated, right, we start creating statistics which are a little more which tell you something
Open,
more, which you
open,
so
flexible.
for example, I'll give basketball because that's the one I know, right? So in basketball, one of the statistics that you count right now, there are a few big ones that you look at, right? But one of the big ones you look at is true shooting percentage, right? So true shooting percentage basically means that it is, if you take a shot, how many points are coming out of your hand for every time the ball leaves your hand,
The
right? That's
average.
basically what it's an average kind of this. Every time the ball leaves your hand, how much is this coming out, right? How many points are we getting out of it once the ball leaves your hand to go to the basket? Whether it's a free throw, whether it's a
Yeah, I get what you're
whether
saying. That's
it's
an oddball statistic because that
yeah,
particular game he may have scored, but you're looking
correct.
that he gives you 4.63 when actually that particular game he gave you 16%
Now
of
it's a
success rate.
very good statistic when you're looking at somebody's performance over a
Career.
year,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? It's a horrendous statistic when you're looking at somebody's performance over a short
For a
period
day.
of time.
Yeah.
So right now what's happened is my favorite team, Philadelphia 76ers, the number one true shooting percentage in the entire NBA is held by a player, okay, who is a guard. He's Steph Curry's brother, Seth Curry, right? So he's got the number one true
Nepotism.
shooting percentage. Is
Huh.
I guess in some ways, right? But he's got the number one true shooting percentage. The next five are centers. Okay, in the entire connection, in the entire history of looking at this, centers have always been at the top. But now what's happened is we've had a ten game shooting stretch during which Seth Curry has been like ridiculous from 3 pointers. So his number is really high because 3 points is the best way to increase your shooting percentage.
Amit,
But it's a
sorry, but
uh,
here's the statistic that when up to the point when Amit was talking about normal things, everything was good. But the moment he started the basketball analogy, our viewership has dropped, our listenership has dropped by 38.3%
no, it's not. It's gone up.
internationally.
When I
Yeah, you
started
think
talking about basketball, there were 123 people streaming. Now there are 140 people streaming.
so 17 people added because of the NBA analogy on intangible factoids
Yeah.
which are shared. Yeah, but the point is well made. I think at the end of it, I think we've all going to bat for the actual statistic rather than
Yeah.
the emotional uh, analysis which comes out of a statistic which is disproved later, and that's just stupid. So we
No,
ask everybody out there, please question the bloody statistic. Check out the data yourself. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
yeah, just complex statistics have a lot of things going on with them, right? Especially derived statistics. They're amazing tools in some ways, but you have to look at them like in 360. You have to look at them in all
Yeah, I like to
aspects.
call them flexible statistics because the statistics make sense in the
Yeah,
way you pointed it out, but it doesn't make sense on a short, as you said, period or daily basis or the exact specific case that you're talking about, for
right.
example, outside sport. But anyway, let's get to the other story, which is
Yeah,
lovely, Silvery.
correct. So that's the first Elon Musk basically
Yeah,
saying
we're
that
on his side on that
I'll sell
one.
my
Yeah,
Tesla stock
yeah.
and help the world in whatever way I can. Okay. Next up on November 7th, which was today is the 8th. So
Eighth.
yesterday, Elon Musk tweeted saying, "Okay, much is made lately of unrealized gains being a means of tax avoidance. So I propose selling 10% of my Tesla stock. Do you support this?" And he made a poll on his as part of that tweet, saying, "Okay, whatever the tweet result, whatever the poll results are, whether you
I'll
say
go with
that
it.
I should 10% of Tesla stock or I shouldn't, I will stick to those results and I will abide by the results." 57.9% of people have said yes, that he should be selling his 10% of Tesla stock, and 42% have said that no. A total of, I'll tell you the total number of people who voted: 3.5 million people, Twitter users, voted in this poll, and that's the result he got. So
So,
so 10% of his stock comes to about $21 billion that he'll be selling off.
but Amit, this is a very scary precedent, huh? Can you actually
It
leave it out there? This is worse than democracy itself.
well, I mean, like there are two ways to look at it, right? One is that it's $20 billion in cash. Okay, that's one way to look at it, right? That Elon Musk owns at this point in time, if I'm not mistaken, about $200 billion of his
It
wealth
says
is stuck
$300 billion. It's more than
no, so
300
two
billion.
hundred billion of which is in Tesla. The remaining is in SpaceX and
Oh, okay, right,
the
right.
other this right. But 200. No, so he said 10% was Tesla stock, right? For twenty
Only
billion
Tesla.
dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he's getting $20 billion in the pocket, right? So it's a little disingenuous from that point of view. You're getting cash. Cash is fungible. You can do whatever you want to with cash. You can go back and buy some Tesla
That's
stock
one way of
tomorrow.
looking at it. The other way of looking at it is you're starting to leave big decisions out there to the
No,
populace.
but see again, the point over here was to kind of get an understanding, right? Because so
That there's
the
democracy in business.
no, that that there's a lot of shit given right now to the fact that you don't have to pay tax on unrealized capital gains as opposed to paying tax on income. If somebody pays you some money, you have to pay tax on that. If you're invested into something, you don't have to pay tax on that until you sell the
Profit.
investment,
Yeah.
right? You book your profit, then you pay your tax, right? Now, so
Yeah.
that's the reason why this is coming up, right?
What's
Because
his
some people are
lesson that he's trying to?
uh,
What's the lesson he's trying to
so
inculcate? There's obviously some
there is no
point he's trying to
lesson.
make.
It's a zero cost lesson to him, right? It's basically that hey, either I'll have twenty
I'm happy
billion
to sell
dollars in my
stock and take the
pocket,
money and start something else.
yeah,
What?
or it's just $20 billion in cash. There are so many things you can do with cash. You cannot do with Tesla stock. If he wants to go and buy an island, he can buy an island for Tesla stock, right? He has to get that stock sold, buy cash, and then sell it.
Why
And
can't he buy
Tesla is a
our
public.
show? He's throwing
Huh?
money all the time out.
He
Can't he buy
should
the
buy our
show?
show.
Cyrus
He
says.
should buy our show.
We'll have a Tesla poster in the background.
Yeah.
A young Elon Musk
It's
milking a cow in South Africa or
I mean,
whatever.
like the most cynical way of looking at Elon Musk's action over here, right, is that basically he wanted to cash out some amount of money, not
And now
all
he's
of it,
blaming
but
it on
if
the
you
people.
yeah, and he knew what the answer to this poll would be, right? Because you know what Twitter is like. As we said, Twitter's not real life, right? That was the best thing about the Dave Chappelle thing, right? Twitter's not a real place. I love the way he said that. Just the way he said it, like Twitter is not a real place. I don't give a fuck about what's going on there. But it is not. But he essentially is doing that only, right? That basically he's using this as a way to I got $20 billion, and hey, I said publicly I'll do it because I wanted to prove a point that I wanted to show that it's important that we should be able to because it is important that entrepreneurs are able to stay invested in their company, right? Today if IVM's value increases, right, and I have to pay tax on that increased value, I have no money to pay this tax. How am I supposed to pay this tax? Someone like Elon Musk who is in the public market can basically liquidate, but how am I supposed to pay this tax?
Well, if you sell Silvery and the TV behind you, we've got to start.
It wouldn't even come close.
How mean? I
But
mean, the TV is
I mean,
something.
I'm a little bit worth a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah. Well, what a world we've come to, where one of the biggest entrepreneurs, one of the richest men in the world, well, not just him, most of them now are so outspoken, out there, almost trying to be transparent, which is not true in everything that they do. But they give you the appearance or this maya, if you like, of transparency by interacting socially all the time. You know, it's thrown out there. You think, wow, he's sitting there and he's thinking, I'll let Twitter decide what to do with my 10% stock. Which, when you just look at it from that point of view, it's like, little is he drunk?
Yeah,
What's that? You know what I mean?
but again,
Especially if my money's in this stock.
it's a no contest bet. It's a no lose bet for him, right? It's either I keep my stock the way I was thinking of, or I put $20 billion in my pocket,
Or it's
and
an
he
exercise
gets.
in PR. He's just obviously
It
much
is an
smarter than
exercise
me.
in PR.
Yeah,
It's an exercise in PR because he can sell this stock now, and he can say that, hey, I sold it because I did this poll.
exactly.
And so it's not a signal against the company,
Hmm.
which otherwise when founders sell, it's a signal against the company.
Correct. Well, whatever it is, I hope Indian multimillionaires and billionaires do the same thing. Look at for advice from Twitter or Insta or all these other Facebook groups, etc., and let us guide you. I think that's the way forward. Let us guide your money. Whether you're selling, liquidating, buying, putting up the shares, putting down the shares, talk to us. We'll help you. In the meantime, should we go to AMAs?
Let's
It's already
please.
11.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Amit
Yep.
has meetings.
I do. Antariksh also has
While we're in the
meetings.
break, while we're in the break, quick reminder, everyone, just please like, share, subscribe if you could. Just hitting the like button goes a long way, so that'll be great if you could do that.
Yes,
All
please
right.
like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah,
Hitting the
subscribe to
like
the channel,
button,
guys.
subscribe to the channel.
It's
We normally don't
only,
beg because that's wrong,
but I think
but
we should.
we have to. After what
But,
Elon
We
Musk
have to.
disgracefully did, we don't have the option. So we have
no,
to.
we moved from
Because
the
I can't
old
liquidate. If we
channel.
liquidate, we can't liquidate.
All of these folks were like, we should move to a Cyrus as independent channel because they wanted notifications and stuff like that. And we're still at like not even 10% of the old channel. Come on, people, please, please, please like this channel,
We're
subscribe
not
to this
even at
channel.
10% of the old channel.
Yeah,
What the hell is going on, guys?
yeah.
That's
Come on,
horrible.
guys, please
Can we go back to
subscribe,
the old
subscribe.
channel?
Now we're here. Now let's not move around back, but let's please have people subscribe.
Yep.
I'm telling
All
you,
right.
instead of people,
AMAs.
let's get
Oh, yeah.
Elon Musk to subscribe. The guy's
That
got a
would
lot
be
of
the
time to be on
Oh,
Twitter and this kind of thing and that kind of thing. He doesn't have work on his plate. He wants to go to the moon
yeah.
and Mars and Jupiter and all that. Come on. This is a guy who needs help. We need help. We can join forces. His money and crazy ideas and our silly show. Silvery, will you talk to him? Elon
Absolutely.
Musk?
I'll tweet at him right now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
All right,
I'll
fair
also
enough.
ask him like for like 2% of his wealth if I can. He might just give
We
it. You
don't
don't know. I'll
tell
start a
him
Twitter poll. Should Elon
tell
Musk
him
give me 2% of
and
his
tell
wealth?
him we're feeding only three hungry people here. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Correct.
It's not one 710 million, just three. Yeah. Okay. AM is it's past 11.
Yes, yes. This first one comes in from Anup P. He says, breaking news. Mehul Choksi has given an interview with Antigua Media playing the victim card. What do you guys think of that?
I think
I'm on
somebody
his side. I've
stuck a
done
gun.
3 events. He's paid me. So I have to take Mehul Choksi's side because as a
Oh,
member of
wow.
the enterprising class of people that do events and shows and all that and all, he was part of it. Of course, he didn't pay very fast. Mehul was mostly more an off-break bowler than a fast bowler when it came to the payment coming in. But
Are you
can I be
serious? This
honest with
actually
you?
happened?
I
Yeah.
have his number on my phone. He would
Oh,
talk. He had a
wow.
very soft voice, and he would talk to me in Gujarati early morning because I told him I'm an early morning guy. Look, came to challenge. Ah, are. And then he would start with whatever little request he had. That's it. Early morning. So
Wow.
I won't say we're friends, but we had a decent relationship. So I think it would be wrong. I'll have to excuse myself. Uh, Amit?
Okay, Amit.
It's a. I'm trying to remember. There've been so many scams of late. I can't remember if. So was Mehul Choksi one of those guys who had a loss
Gitanjali.
problem, or was he one of those guys who had a fraud problem? Nirav Modi definitely had a fraud problem, right? Was Mehul Choksi fraud or was it
That,
loss?
is it Nirav his nephew or son-in-law?
Was it?
Also, there's a
I.
tie-up.
So Nirav Modi was like, see, Nirav Modi straight up went and got like documents forged, right? So
Punjab
that's
Bank
straight up fraud.
fraud
Yeah,
scandal. Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Punjab
But
Bank,
was
Sind
Mehul
Bank.
Choksi
Yeah.
the same
So,
thing?
so it says
There's
that
so many.
he's a fugitive Indian-born businessman living in Antigua and Barbuda, who was wanted by the Indian judicial authorities for criminal conspiracy, criminal breach of trust, cheating, and dishonesty, including delivery of property, corruption, and money laundering.
Okay, see, but
That's
all
yeah,
of
all
that
that.
stuff can be like, it could be part of like normal business practices which get screwed up a little
He's
bit.
fallen foul of the authorities,
Hmm.
is what we
Yeah.
know, but nobody knows what his actual crime is. So it's a bit like a statistical conversation right now, where the specifics aren't clear, but the general coloring of the thing is there, and that's how you do it.
So,
I
like in
mean,
the case of Nirav Modi, it was straight out and out fraud, right? He
more
went
clear.
and got documents forged. He went and got bank
But
officers
there
to
is
sign on forged
Yeah.
documents. It was a very much
Yeah.
a
is
straight
Neerav
up.
Modi is his nephew. It says,
son-in-law.
yeah. Neerav
There
Modi
you
is
go,
his nephew.
nephew.
Okay.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
if it
Because
was the
he
same
was also at
case,
the same
which
function in Abu Dhabi. I remember. Sorry.
oh, so if it was the same case, which some of the people in comments are saying it was the same case, in which case then I am like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever, dude. You're full of shit, right? I'm sorry, but I mean, like, if you were doing this kind of fraud, you're doing fraud only.
But yeah, in case
I
you get hung by the media very quickly. In the case of Nawab Malik, for example, the Sameer Wankhede thing went against him very quickly. Nobody's really investigated enough to know for a fact. Nobody's really come up with paper after paper, but you quickly hang the guy. So in a sense, you're right. We don't know for a fact exactly what the crime is, the true letter of the crime, which we need to investigate more. Money
I
laundering,
think
on the
that
other hand, is a clear crime.
yeah, exactly. See, but the thing is, when you're dealing in foreign exchange, to put a money laundering case on somebody is fairly easy. It's not that difficult to
And
do,
this is
right?
all foreign exchange because
Yeah.
diamonds, I
Correct.
mean, the
My,
market is all out
my,
abroad.
my this is the place I draw the line, right? Is if you are acting, if you are doing straight up fraud, if you're doing straight up forgeries, if you're doing that kind of stuff, now then you deserve everything you get, right? Like Vijay Mallya got into as much trouble as he did for two reasons, right? Which was one is basically he went through losses, aviation industry was fucked, and his banks basically were not willing to. It was a basic. It was that is not something that should be criminalized. What happened to Vijay Mallya, right? In the
You
sense
remember
that he,
the banks passing the money on to him, and so they were not taking part of the blame. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah,
As
exactly.
in
They were
that
not willing
continued
to.
a failed
They
business, and they were not taking. It should be
they were
them
not
who should
willing.
be held
They were not.
accountable.
So they should be held accountable along with the business, right? If there is if there is a legitimate business which has a downturn, right, and if in
Yeah.
that situation you have exposure as a bank, your job as a bank is not to like say, okay, hey, I'm not going
No,
to
I
create an
agree.
NPA, I'm
I
not going to do
agree.
a write off, I want
I
to do
mean, who are
whatever.
you kidding?
Yeah,
I mean, who are you kidding? If there's a lot of money involved, you just look the other way and say, okay, yeah, here's the money. This is
yeah.
not correct. Fair enough. But
So
but I'll just say
in
one more thing about Mehul Choksi, because on a personal level, the second worst cricketer after Kunal Vijayakar I have seen in my life, because we played a practice match and relatives versus relatives in the wedding in Abu Dhabi on a proper pitch and all that. And I was doing commentary along with one of these famous Hindi TV anchors whose name will come back to me. What's his name? Pal. Oh God, what's wrong with me? Anyway, come back. He's the highest paid anchor in the business, so I'll find out. And so we were doing
Sunil
the
Paul?
commentary. Not Sunil Pal. Kid's name. He's younger. Anyway, so we're doing the commentary and all, having fun. And he came out to bat, and he put the bat between his legs, and it was like he'd never even played cricket ever in his life. So I was stunned. Now that is a crime, a tangible crime. I watched, and we had to praise him, right? Because you're there as anchors. But he's very sweet that way. He was quite self-deprecating, so we couldn't praise him. We had to say things like, I mean, this is the Manish
Manish
Paul.
Paul.
Thank you,
Manish
Manish. I'm
Paul. Okay,
sorry. It
okay,
was just
okay,
a brain fade, age related. Nice guy. We had a good time together and all that. Manish is like the highest paid anchor in India. He's like the
okay.
number one.
Yeah.
And so we're having fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy, I mean, I've never seen anything like that. It was, like you call a man from Belgium and who's never seen a cricket match and you give him a bat and, oh, it was fantastic. And he's a cricket lover, fanatic, by the way, on top of that. So that was the story. Anyway,
Uh,
not to name drop.
Funny.
But yes, I know a fugitive in
All right.
Antigua. How many of you do? Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
true.
All right.
That's fun.
Next one is a cricket related question. Comes in from Pradeep Pillai. He says, Ravindra Jadeja's press conference was witty. The journalist asked him, अगर अफगानिस्तान ने न्यूजीलैंड को नहीं हराया तो, and Jadeja was like, तो क्या बैग पैक करके वापस घर आ जाएंगे. Epic. That's what the person says. I don't know if you saw
Yeah,
this,
but
Cyrus.
then this is completely the journalist's fault. Now you're asking a question which throws India out of the World Cup. So what do you
Hmm.
want him to say? You want him to say, "I'm going to cry." What day of shame? Sharam ki baat hai. Desh ki sharam hai. I mean, I don't know what people think. Why are you asking these
is
questions
it
as
realistic to
adults?
expect Afghanistan to beat New Zealand?
It's over. New Zealand beat Afghanistan. We're out, bro.
Oh,
While you're
okay.
watching NBA, this country is burning. I
Right.
say, yeah. Uh, so it's over. No, I agree with Amit, and we discussed this about that famous tennis Osaka incident and all that. You face the press. You have to face the press. But when the press asks stupid questions, you have every right to give a stupid answer. That's all I'm saying. A tongue-in-cheek
Yeah.
answer. What is it? They've lost. He has to go home. That's exactly what he said. A pointless question, really. But sometimes I wonder whether a lot of us, we also want our team to lose. I mean, when you're a press person and you're around them and you want to just bring them down to earth, you're almost happy gloating when you ask the question. There's also that sub dynamic which no one talks about when they're talking to each other. The same 10 journalists remember tour and the same ones asking questions. And if they don't have a good rapport with ex cricketer, they're very happy to dig in the knife a little bit. Silvery, bolo. क्या करने का? अभी हार
Yes.
गया तो हार गया ना. What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
If your son comes back, he loses the match, he lost the match. Indians, we have to learn to move on. You cry for a moment and just move on. We don't move on. We want to have like a Sangeet and like another Punjabi wedding for 9 days. Let it go. It's over.
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
There's no point. I don't understand the getting angry part. Firstly, and when you lose a match, it's just it's part of being a fan of a
No,
sport.
no, I don't see the point of the stupid questions. What are you gonna do once we've lost? We've lost. Once they lose, we lose because of that affects us, as in we're out points
Correct.
wise. Once they lose,
I think
we
the
lose.
journalist, the journalist was fishing for like a
Emotional
controversial kind of an
comment
answer or
कि
something.
यार शर्म की
emotional
बात है,
comment.
क्या
something
दिन
like
आ
that.
गया अपने इतिहास में or something. I don't know what he wanted from him.
Yeah.
And that we will now
Yeah.
practice 8 hours a day or give up advertising or some stupid thing like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the mutual funds gags were, Amit Kulkarni just messaged me about the mutual funds gags. When you're losing as a sports person in a very high profile tournament, don't have these gags which have a sense of success, victory on them. Because the mutual funds gag is all about returns. And he's sent a very smart point. Yeah. And we've returned early. So, that's one. And then it always ends with sahi hai, which is really not the right answer. So I would think as an advertiser, I would just pull out, at this point. What do you say, Amit? Why would you, if the team's getting the image is taking a beating and the ad is somewhat relevant to the tournament and to the product in terms of success failure, you want to pull out, right?
or always have two ads ready to roll, right? One pro and one against, like if India loses. kind of thing.
Self-deprecating one that would work definitely.
That I think is a good this, but I don't know what else you do, right?
Naukri.com, Jadeja's looking for a job, I mean that would be funny. I would love that. That ad would work for me immediately.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But it wasn't that. It was sahi hai na? Sahi hai. And everybody's so full of themselves. You got to be careful. Anyway, like I say,
next
win or
one.
lose, it's over. Next.
Let's do one last one.
Yeah, this one here. This one comes from Harvesh Kasar. This is for Amit. He says, hello all. Amit, which team has surprised you in the early part of the NBA season? Also, do you believe the East this season is going to be as strong as the West have been in recent years?
Is it true that the West is much stronger than the East in basketball? Amit, I read that somewhere.
Over the last 20 years, I would say yes. Though the best team
by far.
So so the West generally will have 5 really good teams. The East will have 2 really good teams.
Oh, so that's a pretty decent statistic. We're all about statistics.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like this is a broad generalization, right? But the West has almost always got more better good teams. The thing about the NBA is that very early on, you know who has a chance and who doesn't have a chance, right? That's kind of well known.
So back to this question: this season,
Washington Wizards are really surprising. I did not expect them to be this good. And Lakers are really surprising in a great way because they suck, and that's awesome. Celtics suck. I'm happy. So the Lakers and Celtics were both supposed to be good, and they both are awful, and that makes me happy.
So going back to the East, Washington Wizards has a chance to take the title.
I don't think they have a chance to take a title, but they're playing really well. I didn't expect they're I think 7-2 or 8-2, and I didn't expect them to be that good.
So the finals will be between two West teams or the East teams.
No, it'll be one West and one East. Not one West and one East.
Exactly. Sorry, I forgot that. Well, my apologies. Yes. Damn game, very complicated. Not like cricket.
Hey, no, it's not at all.
Pick one last one, or we done?
It's a simple game. Like if you ever try and watch a video of understanding cricket versus understanding basketball, it becomes clear just how the rule differences.
Well, before you went to Canada, my son, we were watching a little because it would come on the weekend early morning, right? We'd watch a little of it together because he likes the NBA, and thank God now because he's gone to that part of the world.
Yeah,
where you better get basketball in your blood.
Toronto.
So. Yeah, Toronto Blue Jays. No, that's the baseball team.
Toronto Raptors.
The Raptors. Yeah,
the Raptors.
But we weren't following. Sorry to say, no Canadian team. It was all the high-profile ones. The
Raptors were bad last year.
Warriors.
They'll be good this year, though.
Golden State Warriors and those type of teams. Yeah. Okay, should we take one quick one as we end?
Yeah, one last
shortest question possible.
Okay. This is just very. Okay, very surprising that this came in from Shavik Bakchi again. He says, my engineering batchmate got martyred in J&K, Lieutenant Rishi Kumar. He was just 23. On news, I only saw Aryan Khan, who is of the same age and smoked weed. Made me so mad. And I feel you, man.
Yeah,
Shovik. Yeah.
yeah. Let's not blame it on Aryan Khan. It's not his fault.
It's a
But yeah, I
media.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree with this completely. I mean, the news is just. I mean, you think you're drunk sometimes. The kind of reporting that's out there. I mean, Ethiopia is already rising up in flames. There's no story on that. Civil disobedience and war that's going on there. If ethnic killing in Africa has never been given enough importance. If you go back to Rwanda and all these places and the genocide there can match Stalin at his best or Hitler at his best. So I don't know who picks in this like glamour story and this story should go up. It's a difficult one, but you're right. How can you look at the two? Somebody's martyred as a you know in terms
No,
of
I mean, man, yeah.
magnitude against some rave
So
party.
this is the problem with for-profit news versus public service news, right? News is not a public service in India. It's for
Or is it?
profit.
Or should it be?
It's
Or
well,
should
I
it
mean, that's a
not be?
question.
You have to sell the paper, so that this is all open.
No, but so no, no, but then see, a newspaper is not going to be public service. If you want it to be public service journalism, then the model in front of you is the BBC model, right? Where that is a basically it's an independent, government funded, but independent of government model, right? We have that model except for the independent of government part, right?
I'll just interrupt for a second. But Sylvie didn't get it. BBC is British Broadcasting, not what you have the term you see in porn and all. That's different,
Oh man.
bro.
Cool.
Because
Thanks. Thanks, thanks.
you don't understand, and you go back
Oh,
to
I
some
get
stupid
it.
question. I want to
Oh,
I
thanks,
want to
thanks.
just get that
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
the way.
No,
Sorry
and
about that. Yeah.
it's horrendous, right? I mean, like, Shauvik's exactly right, right? That how does somebody like we don't hear about the most important things because because it's profit motive, right? I mean, like when journalism has a profit motive, and it does, and again, that's the way we're set up in this country. It's not the way that it should be, but that's the way we're set up in this country. That we're set up in a way where there's a profit motive, and profit motive means that you're going to chase eyeballs, right? Because at the end of it, that's what pays the bill. That's what
The,
allows you to do whatever you do.
the Aryan Khan case again. The poor kid is kid name. It's not his choice. Remember. So let's understand. This is the fault of the press, if there's a fault at all. And along with that, we had
It's
Lakhimpur. We had other stories. We had lots of stories which weren't carried. There was a blast in Afghanistan mosque one of those days, and 80 people were killed. I mean, that's horrific.
yeah,
His batchmate, young guy, 23 years old. I mean, these are magnitude. These are much bigger stories
yeah.
and human disaster, human misery. When you think about
But
it, there's no question. But
I don't blame the press because I mean that's how they're set up.
look at
Again, the
us.
press
We carried
today
the
is
we carried the
huh,
Aryan Khan story in our
we
cock
do.
and bulls and whatever
Yeah,
guest interaction, probably disproportionately to the Lakhimpur story, which we tried to carry, or to any other big story that happened across the world, which did happen, which we decided to ignore for whatever reason. As mentioned,
yeah.
Ethiopia, as mentioned, Lakhimpur, has mentioned many, Afghanistan, blah blah blah. So we also to get. I don't know the
We
word
are
blame, but so why did we go
because
there?
no, we are because see, Cyrus, my mandate, right? I started IVM. What's my mandate to start IVM? I want to create a
Communicate.
podcasting network. I've done it by myself. It's not that I've got government money to do this or I've gotten any kind of fund to
Well, you
participate in this
can.
to
We just have to change our tenor a little bit.
no,
You know.
but that's the point, right? I mean, like the way the press is set up in India is they're set up as private entities. The
Yeah, I mean
print
we
is
can't.
different, the wire is different, Indian Express is different, Times of India is different. All of these different are there different
No, but
companies which have to
so
generate
there's no
revenue to
good
pay
and bad
salaries.
because exactly. So we've got to sell the product. We have to sell the product, then it's a product first.
It's a
While everybody
product.
thinks of it as you said, a bastion of sincerity and truth, which is
It's
dead.
not.
Even with due respect to the BBC,
Well,
there's just doesn't really
well, so
exist.
no, but
A
the
really
BBC does
clean
do that. The BBC
print,
does
all
do that. They
to
make an
some
attempt to
extent.
do that,
To some extent,
right?
but there will always be prejudices and there will always be favoritism, and you can't change all that. Maybe not profit bound, but there is. So end of the day, I'm saying, anyway, the standard is too high. What do you expect
Yeah,
from people? Coming back to this young lieutenant who's been killed and no mention of him. I mean, this is going to happen every day almost. With the
yeah.
next scandal will start. Nawab Malik defamation will carry much more interest and generate much more print and time across networks than anything else.
Yep.
All
Awkward
right. I
silence
think
while we
yeah,
decide that
but
we don't have an answer. We just apologize to Mr. Bakshi because what can we say? I mean, not that we're at fault here, but what to do? But I think we're all
Yeah.
guilty as a society to some extent of gossip being more important. The gossipy part of it is what rises to the top, if you
yeah.
like, and the rest just disappears. Anyway, as the great William Shakespeare said, all friendship is fake, all loving mere folly. Hi ho the holly, hi ho the holly.
Yep.
Shall we end now,
Cyrus,
folks? And
yeah,
yeah,
we can. There's a couple of things I'd send you, Cyrus. Could we just ask that again?
right. You send me a message. Dear Cyrus, I am naked in bed waiting. Oh no, that's not you. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes the first message I get. Um, then after Slay Coffee is something else.
No, no,
Oh
before that,
yes,
just
before that. Oh, yes. This is a sincere message from us who are a neutral bastion of sincerity and don't want to take a check from anybody. Please also, folks, subscribe to the Cyrus Says YouTube channel. I could do that without looking. Subscribe to the Cyrus Says YouTube channel. We need subscription. We beg you, please help us. And we promise to defend the truth partially to minor degree at some
yeah.
point in the fullness of time. We will one day. It will happen. Stay with us. Let me be very clear. We need the subscription. 10% of the old channel. What kind of
10%
business
of the old
model are you
channel.
putting up here?
It's growing. It's
Yeah.
growing faster. It's growing much faster than the old channel ever grew. But at the same time, it's still 10% of what the old channel
I
was.
gave you two words. Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Call him up right now, guys. Elon Musk. That guy's always he's probably on the net right now, playing around with somebody. Yes, yes, I'll solve the Ethiopia crisis. Give me 1 million and I'll sell it right now and all happen. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Amit, you don't look that busy. You want to chat more? We can chat.
No, no, I have to go. I'm already really late.
Okay, all right. We'll release the dragons. Okay, see you all tomorrow. Bye bye. I'm